So by using this import keyword, print keyword dot keyword list, we can able to print all the keywords that are available. All the keywords that are available.
Hello? 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 Hello?
So this is very simple. We are writing the for loop to print from 0 to 10. 11 is excluding. Very simple. Now let's write another. First, I'm declaring variable called x, supplying 10. Here, we are not giving the type here. X is equal to 10. We are not giving the type. Type is automatically identified while we are supplying the value. That is why we are calling the Python as a dynamically typed language, not statically typed language, dynamically typed language. At the compile time, it is not going to check. At the compile time, it is not going to check for the data type of the variable. At the runtime, whichever the value we are supplying for that variable, that will be the type of that variable. Whatever the value we are supplying to that variable, that type will be applied for that variable. We are not specifying the type here. So that is why we are calling it as a dynamically typed language. Case of Java, that is statically typed language. Now before only we need to specify the type. At the compile time only we need to specify the type. That is why we are calling Java as statically typed, Python as dynamically typed. Now simple method I'm writing df f1 colon int from f1 from f1 comma 10. Now I'm calling f1. Save it, try to run. From f1 10 we are getting. Simple method call. Now what are all the data types we have in Python? What are all the data types we have in Python? We have int type. We have int type. For example, for int type, for example, let's say 10 is the int. Let's say 200 is the int. 2000 is the int. We have the float. For float, a number with a decimal point, 10.2 or 100.2. We have the float type. We have the int type. We have the float type. We don't have the decimal type. Sorry, we don't have the double type. Instead of double, we have the float. Instead of double, we have the float. We have int type, we have float type, and we have complex type, a new type. So here, complex type. How we can able to represent the complex type? The value, how can we able to supply? See, this is the, we have two parts here. Real part. This one is the real part. This one is imaginary part. This one is the real part. This one is the imaginary part. We are supplying the values for complex. This is the value for complex data type. complex data type. Then we have bool type, bool type, that is boolean type. We have true and false, true and false, true and false. Then we have str type, string type. Simply we are saying it as str type. Then we have bytes type, bytes, bytes type. Then we have byte array type, byte array type. Then we have range. Range is also a type. Then we have list type. Then we have tuple type. We have set type, set type. We have frozen set, frozen set. Then we have dictionary, dict. Then we have none. These are all the data types. These are all the data types. Int type, float type, complex type, bool type, str, bytes, byte array, range, list tuple set, frozen set, dictionary, none. Now we have inbuilt functions also. We have inbuilt function also. Print is the inbuilt function. Type is the inbuilt function. ID is the inbuilt function. You'll see how we can able to use the how we can able to use those things. Here inbuilt functions we have. Int function we have. Type function we have. ID function we have. Now we'll discuss about int data type. We'll discuss about int data type. What is int data type? Integral values. Integral values, whole numbers without any decimal points. Whole numbers without any decimal points. Now observe. X is equal to 20. X is equal to 20. So let me develop in the file itself. X is equal to 20. Now print is the type. Type I'm going to print. What is the type of A? What is the data type of X? Not A, X. Data type of X. We are going to print the data type of the X. Save it. And we are getting int type. We are getting class int type. Python is 100%. Python is 100% object-oriented programming language. Python is 100% object-oriented programming language. Everything is everything. Everything is an object. We can able to represent int values in 4 types. We can able to represent int values in 4 types. Decimal type we can able to represent. Binary type we can able to represent. octal type, able to represent hexadecimal, we can able to represent decimal, binary, octal, hexadecimal. Now in case of decimal, decimal range, what is the decimal range? 0 to 9. Decimal range is 0 to 9. Now we have binary. What is the range? Here, there won't be any range concept. In case of binary, only two things. Either it can be 0 or it can be 1. It can be 0 or it can be 1. For example, here, come to the ideally. Now, A is equal to A is equal to carefully observe this one. 0B 4 ones. 0B 4 ones. Here it is in the binary form. 0B in the sense binary. 0B in the sense binary. Here you can also give in the uppercase, no issues at all. You're getting 15. I'm not storing into any variable. Directly I'm printing the value of 0B 4 ones. It is the 15. How we can able to do it? 15. How we are getting 15? Here 0, 1, 2, 4. 0, 1, 2, 4. 15 you are getting. Here it might not be 0. It is actually 1. 1. How you can able to represent here? Let's say here 1, 2, totally 3. Here 4. 4 plus 3, 7. 7 plus 8. 7 plus 8, 15. 7 plus 8, 15. This is how we are able to calculate. Here, in this side, 1 is applying. Here, 2, 4, 8. Here, for decimal, what is the base? For decimal, base is what? 10. 0 to 9. For binary, it is 2. 0 and 1. Base is 2. Next, we can able to represent in the octal also. Octal is base 8. 0 to 7. 0 to 7. Octal. 0 O in the uppercase or in the lower case? 0 O 777. What is the value? Some decimal value 511. We have extra hexadecimal. We have hexadecimal. Hexadecimal. What is the base? This is 16. We can able to use 0 to 9 and A to Z. Hexadecimal. Base 16. We can use 0 to 9. After 9, A to F. A to F from 0 to 9. After that, A to F. 10 is A, 11 is B, 12 is C, 13 is D, 14 is E, 15 is F. 0 to 15, that is totally 16. So it is base 16. Next. Here, for example, 0 x ABC. Valid. 0 x in the uppercase is. This is also in the range. Till F, any character we can able to use. 0 x. This is also valid. But what is invalid? 0x here. Invalid hexadecimal literal. Only from A to F you can able to give. Now we will see how to convert from one data type to another data type. Conversion. It is not like one data type to another data type. From binary to octal, how we can convert? From octal to hexadecimal, how we can able to convert like that. Typecasting is different, that we will see later. These are all inbuilt function. Bin is the inbuilt function. From any base to bin we can able to convert. From any base to binary we can able to convert. Now 15 I'll give. 15 I'll give. Is what? Decimal base. Decimal to binary we are converting. Now from octal. From octal to binary we are converting. Possible. From hexadecimal. From hexadecimal to binary. That also possible. Also possible. OCT, octal, inbuilt function, OCT. From decimal to octal, we are converting. It's a hex. 0B, we are converting it to hexadecimal. From binary to hexadecimal. We can able to convert from decimal to hexadecimal. That is also possible. No issues. We'll move on to next data type, float data type. Float data type. In case of float data type, carefully observe. Initially, A is equal to 66.5. Then I'm going to find out the type of A. We'll get the class float. Now, observe this one. X is equal to 0B 60.6. Is not a valid binary. It is not a valid binary. Syntax error we are getting. Syntax error. Let's say here octal double eight is also invalid. If I give in the exponential form 1.2, if I give in the exponential form, carefully observe. No issues at all. Exponential form 1.2 exponential 3. Valid. X is equal to 12 E2. X valid. Then E is also valid. Now we'll come to complex data type. In case of complex, it will be like this: A plus dj. Now A is the real part, then D is the imaginary part. Now, what is the value of j? Is the value of j? Value of j is j power j power 2 is equal to minus 1. It's a mathematical representation. We don't want to go in deep into this. It is not necessary. Simply know that the value of j is j power 2 is equal to minus 1. Imaginary part value can be also in the floating point. Let's say here 33.3 real part can also write in the floating point type. Then 8 j must must include. This is the real part. This is the imaginary part. What is the value of j? J power 2 is equal to minus 1. Now you can able to find out, I'm sorry here, let's say a is equal to 33.3 plus 8.5j. Into the a, you'll get this one. Find out the type of a. Complex type of a. Data type of a is the complex type. Class complex. Now observe carefully. 12 plus 14i. Instead of giving j, I'm giving I. Not possible. Not possible. You can only go for j. 12 plus 14, uppercase I'm giving, valid. No issues. Uppercase or lowercase, that is valid, but it should be j. Now observe. Now what I'll do, 12j, this is I'm making it as imaginary part. Then this is the real part. That is also possible. When output is coming, real part comes first, then imaginary part. You can also find out the type of a. Complex. Now carefully observe. 20 plus 20. Both are making it as imaginary part. Let's store it to some variable. A is equal to int A. What we are getting? 40j. Two imaginary parts are added. If both are imaginary parts, those two will be added. 40j we are getting. You can also find out the type. Complex only. A is equal to 12 plus. This is not valid syntax. This one. If I say like this, A is equal to 12 plus, like this. This is invalid. Invalid. Now, the real part can be of any form, like octal, binary, or hexadecimal. A real part can be of any type, any form. Y is equal to 0, B, 4 ones. So it is binary 10 2j. No issues at all. 15 plus 2j we are getting. The value of 0b 4 ones is 15. Now let's say y is equal to 2 plus 0b 4 ones. J. This one is not possible. Only real part. Only real part can be binary, octal, or hexadecimal. Not the imaginary part. Not the imaginary part. Observe A is equal to 10 plus 20j. T is equal to 20 plus 30j. I want to print the sum of these two. What happens? 10 plus 20, 30. That will be the real part. 10 plus 20. 30 will be the real part. 20 plus 30. 50 will be the imaginary part. Can also go for A minus B. 10 minus 20, 10. 20 minus 30, 10. Minus 10, minus 10j. Can also go for A into B. Now I want to find out which is real part and which is imaginary part. Let's say y is equal to 2 plus 4j. 2 is the real part, 4j is the imaginary part. Y dot, always it is going to return in the form of floating point. Y dot real. This is the real part of this y. This is the imaginary part. To find out the imaginary part, this is the imaginary part. Now we will see bool, boolean. Case of boolean, very simple, true or false. Y is equal to print y, true. Y is equal to, if you say true, syntax error, t must be in the uppercase. Find out the type. Find out the type of y. Boolean class bool. Now observe, a is equal to 1, b is equal to 3, c is equal to a less than b. Whether 1 less than 3? Yes, 1 is less than 3, a less than 3. Boolean value, true will be storing inside C. You try to print C, true will get. You try to print C, true will get. Now there is a another interesting functionality is there. What is that? True plus true, we can able to add mathematical operation. It is going to perform. True in the sense it is going to consider it as internally 1. True in the sense 1. False in the sense 0. Now we can able to perform mathematical operation. True plus true. You will get to 2. Now, false plus false. To try to print y, 0 will get. Okay guys, enough for today. I'll be sharing all the material today. I'll create one is that I'll create one repository for you guys. So here Python April. So resources folder will be there. Here you can able to find everything. I'm going to create one repository for your course. This is my repository. This is my GitHub account. Here I'll be creating one repository for your batch. Now in this repository, you can able to find all the resources. Whatever I do in the class, all the resources, everything, material, everything, you can able to find out in this repository. Okay, guys, we'll continue tomorrow. Please practice all these things. If you have any doubt, you can ask me. If you have any queries, you can able to ask. Any queries? Any queries?
No, sir.
Okay, guys, we'll continue in the next class. Have a good day. Bye.